Modi decided personally that he was going to make this public and he was going to embarrass the US president, even though the US president is much more powerful than Modi is. And, most other leaders in that position have chosen to remain silent. They've
Right.
sucked it up. Some of them have even proactively talked about how amazing Trump is, how wonderful Trump is. I mean, look at Keir Starmer, who certainly doesn't like what Trump stands for, but loves the fact that he got a better deal from Trump than other countries have. He's in a very weak position. So, I mean, Trump is, sort of the God's grace from the
Yeah.
UK perspective. Modi is really on the opposite side of that. The Indians denied it. The Pakistanis said that the US played a significant role. I've
Right.
spoken with many in the Trump administration, and it's very clear that the truth is in the middle, that there was a role played by Vance and by Rubio and by some senior State Department staffers who pulled all-nighters on this, and that they had influence. They were constructive. I wouldn't say they were definitive.
Right.
And so, but my point is not that. My point is that, you could say they were really important. You could say they were a little important. Modi decided personally that he was going to make this public and he was going to embarrass the US president, even though the US president is much more powerful than Modi is. And, most other leaders in that position have chosen to remain silent. They've
Right.
sucked it up. Some of them have even proactively talked about how amazing Trump is, how wonderful Trump is. I mean, look at Keir Starmer, who certainly doesn't like what Trump stands for, but loves the fact that he got a better deal from Trump than other countries have. He's in a very weak position. So, I mean, Trump is, sort of the God's grace from the UK perspective. Modi is really on the opposite side of that. And that certainly has helped Modi in terms of domestic politics.
Right.
We will see if there are broader consequences on the security and the economic relationship. It's an interesting question. Modi did not sign on to, and all the other SCO countries did, support for Belt and Road. He didn't, as you say, go on to Beijing for the World War II commemoration and the military parade.
Right.
Nobody that understands geopolitics thinks that this somehow heralds a new trusted India-China entente. That is not in the cards at all. What Modi did do, and I think it's meaningful, is he got into Putin's limousine, just like Putin got into Trump's limousine in Anchorage a week or so before, and made it very clear, as Trump was saying, I'm going to increase tariffs on you because you're buying all this oil. Modi's saying, I'm going to do whatever I want with Putin, and I'm not going to listen to you. That was a very direct message. And I think appropriately so from Modi's perspective. I think that was, it was noticed, but it did not lead to negative consequences. In fact, it probably made Trump pay more attention to the need to engage with Modi in a friendlier way.
Does the
So
White
on
House
balance,
realize?
I would say that worked. I would say that worked. The Americans are still committed to their troops on the ground in Japan, in South Korea. There is a very significant amount of American military capability with exercises, training, intelligence sharing around the South China Sea. I don't think that's going to suddenly go away over the course of the Trump administration. There is a hemispheric tilt. There is more focus on U.S. border security, a lot more money for ICE, which is the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. There's, of course, this Venezuela issue, which has a lot to do with drug interdiction, now that the Mexico border has been secured. But I do accept that the broader idea that India is a long-term strategic counterweight to China for the United States, this is an administration that doesn't think very much about long-term strategic counterweights. I mean, they don't even really want a strong Europe, which is the principal counterweight to everything. Their view is, you know, this is really, we'd be better off with a weak Europe because we can get better deals with individual weak European countries than we can with an EU that is coherent and holds together as a common market. So, I mean, if the Americans aren't even interested in a strong Europe, it's hard to imagine they're going to be very interested in a strong India. And that I think it's more unilateralist
Yes.
in orientation. And I think, the interesting thing is I speak with leaders around the world, and mostly leaders are friends of the United States, but some adversaries too. What they're finding is that the Americans are not just unpredictable, but they're unreliable. And unpredictability, it makes you, make sure that you have resilience because, you want to take a bus, it might be late. Unreliability means you can't take the bus. Bus
Right.
might not get there. And that I think is a much harder thing for American friends and partners and allies to swallow.